Welcome back, everybody. It's 2019. I hope you had a wonderful holiday with your friends and your family. But now that 2019 is here, you may have some projects that you want to do. And maybe one of the projects you want to do is a new kitchen. And maybe in this new kitchen, you have an island. And maybe in this island, you want to hang up some pendants. So now begs the question, how many pendants, what size diameter pendant should I use? All very good questions. These are issues that a lot of my clients come across when they're doing an island. They don't know what size pendants they should use. They don't know how many pendants they should use. So it's a bit confusing. There's a lot of math involved, as you can see from the diagram right here. I'm going to try to go over it step by step so that you'll understand what it is you need to know when you're hanging your pendants. Now, when you hire an electrician to hang up your pendants, you can certainly ask him, but I can almost guarantee you that his answer is going to be, if you ask him how many pendants or what size, he's pretty much going to say, well, it all depends on what you like and what you want. The reason he's going to say that is because he's not going to want to answer those questions, because in case he gets them wrong or you don't like them, then it's going to fall onto his shoulders. So most likely he's going to give you an answer like, well, it all depends on what you like. But I'm here to tell you there are some general rules and guidelines to help you decide how many pendants you want. Now, obviously, the larger the island, the more pendants you can put over the island, or the larger the pendants can be. You can have two options on that. You know, the size of the pendants or the number of pendants. It's very important to realize that when when you're putting it over your island. Now, on this particular sample that I'm using here, this island is 120 inches, which is a fairly large size island. But I wanted to show you how you come up with this particular numbers. Generally speaking, the width between the end of the island and the first pendant is about 12 inches. That being so that the light is shining pretty much over that area where you're eating on your plate, so you can see your food. You can do a little bit more. I certainly wouldn't do less, because then it's pretty much hitting you over your head. But you can do more. But generally speaking, 12 inches is the general size, the length that they use. Okay, so now let's say with this particular pendant, you decided you wanted 4. You can do 3, but you wanted 4 because it's a pretty nice length and it will definitely take 4 pendants. So how do you figure this out? So if the first one between the end of the island to the first pendant is 12 inches, how many spaces are you going to have between each pendant? In this case, 4 pendants means 5 spaces. Why? Because you have a space between the first pendant between the end of the island to the first pendant, a space between these 2 pendants, a space between these 2 pendants, a space between these 2 pendants, and last but not least, the space between that end of the island and this pendant. So that, as you can see here, it's numbered, is 5 spaces. So you take that 12 inches right here and you times it by 5. You'll get 60 inches. With me so far? Okay, you take that 60 inches and you subtract it from 120. You get 60 inches because, it's pretty much in half. All right. Now, once you get that 60 inches, you divide it by how many pendants you have. And in this case, you have 4. So you take 60 and you divide it by 4. That'll give you 15 inches. That is the diameter of your pendants. Now, when you add all those 12s and all those 15, you'll get 120 inches. So you'll have a nice width between each pendant and a nice even space. And the pendants will look just perfect over this island. Not too big, not too small. With me so far? Okay, so let's just use another example. Let's say you decided in this particular island, you want 3. Now you want 3 big ones. Now what length, what diameter should you use on your pendants? Same general rule. 12 inches from the end of the island to the first pendant. But in this instances, you have 4 spaces because you eliminated one. right? 4 spaces between, so if you eliminate one, you'll have this space here, this space here, this space here, eliminate this one because you don't have, and this one. So it'll be 4 spaces, right? So you take that 12 and you times it by 4. You'll get 48. With me so far? Okay, you take that 48 and you subtract it by the length of the countertop, which is 120. That will give you 72. And you divide that by the number of pendants. In this case, it's 3. So it's going to be 24 inches for the diameter of your pendants. Perfect. You can see how you get that diameter over your island. If you do it this way, you'll always be spot on. You won't make a mistake. You'll get it right. You'll have the perfect length in between each pendant, and you'll have the perfect width for all your pendants. It is just a matter of choosing how many pendants you want. I probably would not do 2 pendants on this because your pendants would have to be really big, and I think it looks better with 3 pendants. Generally speaking, and I've said this before, odd numbers work best. Something like this, the 3 pendants over the island will look really nice, but rules are made to be broken. You certainly can break them, and in this instance, because the island is so big, you certainly can use 4. I wouldn't use 5. That's a bit much. I mean, it's all according to taste. So it all depends on what you like. And the other thing that I want to talk about, let me put this down, is the height between the countertop and the end of the pendant. That's very important as well. That is anywhere between 36 and 48 inches. 36 being the minimum and 48 probably being the maximum. You need to take into account your sight lines so that if you're sitting across from somebody, you don't want to have the pendant kind of hit you here so you can't see your family or your friend at the other end of the table. And you certainly want to make sure that when you're standing up that the pendant again is not in your sight line. Now, I know in 48 inches should clear just about everybody unless you have a really tall person, but even then I think you'll be fine. So keep in mind your sight lines when you hang up your pendants. This should give you a general idea of how to hang up your pendants. You can certainly ask the electrician to help you. He may have the answer, he may not, but I can almost guarantee you that if you ask an electrician how to hang up your pendants, he's definitely not going to answer that question because he doesn't want to make a mistake. Most likely he's going to say it all depends on what you like, because if he gets it wrong or you don't like it, he doesn't want to take on that responsibility. So now you have some general idea of how to hang up pendants. I know this is a short, sweet video, but it's a very important video. Might want to play it over a couple of times so you get it right. It's a little confusing with the math, but if you listen to it a couple of times and kind of work the math problem out, do a little diagram, you'll understand it a little bit better. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave any comments you have below. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Until next week, everyone have a great day. See you then.